Hello, Cancer. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. And a really big thank you to all of you who followed me over here. I love you guys. All right, Cancer. So before I get started, just to remind everybody, I read from Sun, Moon, and Rising, but feel free to apply this message to wherever Cancer is in your chart. And please make sure that you're only taking in the messages that resonate with you. All right, Cancer. Man, this is some powerful stuff right here. Religion, gratitude, and is this me? So, your beliefs may be something that you are going back to and are revising in a way that is bringing you closer to the kingdom of God within you. That's how powerful this one is. So, let's talk about religion first. One of the things that I've always said is that if you confine yourself very strictly to one set of beliefs, then you are not seeing or understanding how those beliefs are connected to every other religion on the face of this planet. It is so important to take in as much information that you can and create your own structure of beliefs. And I think that for some of you, you're finding gratitude for the fact that a religion may have pushed you on the path to opening up your awareness of the God power that lives within you. Right? God is within you and it is all around you. You are not separate from it. And there's this powerful feeling of being very grateful for the beliefs that are being realized through religion, right? So working with this card talks about learning more of the world's religions and begin to understand what has influenced your own life and your own culture, even laws and the conditions under which you live. While this may sound exhausting, it will be helpful as you begin to understand a difference between personal ethics, faith, and connection. I love this because it talks about the structure and the family feeling of being within certain belief structures, right? When you're growing up and you're going to, church every Sunday or going to, Sunday school, whatever the case may be, right? There is a familiar, connected feeling with that. But I think that that was just meant to be a stepping stone to understanding how every religion, there is a connection that has such beautiful information from it that we can create our own way of believing. We don't have to stay stuck within things that don't fit well, but rather than being upset over having religious PTSD, there's this gratitude that's coming in with this. Some of you may be finding yourself very grateful for a new set of beliefs that are being introduced to you. But either way, huge thing. And, the reason why I bring this up is because is this me? There's this question of, what led me to this path? I don't feel like the same person anymore. Maybe what you used to believe was somebody completely different. But the fact that you start to question this, I think, is what opens the door to all of the amazing stories of humanity. I mean, I'm seeing the big full picture on this, right? Which is why it talks about this being exhausting. But let me read gratitude, because this, I think, is the power punch to all of this. It says the continued practice of this alchemical virtue can animate forgiveness, heal the past, and bring a daily sense of wonderment and peace. From a cosmic perspective, to become unconditionally grateful for the adventure of life with all its ups and downs and regardless of outcomes is to merge with the kingdom of God. I love it. I love it. And I think it's a beautiful place to be in. Rather than struggling to deal with, like I said, for some people, they go through the religious PTSD. But the problem is when you go through things like that, there's a tendency to want to cling to one set of beliefs, right? But if you can keep yourself open the gratitude that will come from understanding the perspective, the many different perspectives of God, right? The enormity of this and the potential for how it plays out in your life right now, I think is huge. Now, obviously, this isn't going to be for everybody. But your beliefs are something to be grateful for if they bring you peace. And they bring you closer to that connection with God where you see life as something to be celebrated regardless of where it takes us. So important. Is this me? I cannot recognize myself, but I'm still here, or I'm still me. It says, I cannot recognize myself as I can't remember the road that led me here. How can I see the road ahead? And it talks about make no excuses, because the choices which made what we are our responsibility. If an old dream is dead, it's time to dream anew. If the old dream is alive, it's time to go back to it. And it may be one of those things where you're going back in order to go forward. And again, learning more about the beliefs that have set you up to where you are now. Especially if you're questioning on if what you previously believed is true to who you are, right? But wow. And of course this would be coming out of Cancer. Like it was either going to be you, Pisces, or Scorpio. It can't be any other way. But I'm interested to see what you guys are dealing with right now. And as crazy as the world is right now, I think it's important that we understand that to be locked into any type of belief is to set limits up for your own potential. But I do think that this may have to do with those of you who are dealing with the religious PTSD, which absolutely I get. And if that is the case, I always recommend Paul Wallace. I think he is a wonderful person to listen to, and the empathy and compassion that comes from him is something that, you know, it can't be overstated how important that is when you're dealing with struggling with understanding new beliefs or how beliefs may have been manipulated, you know, whatever the case may be. It's like listening to a very compassionate parent going, I understand. Your beliefs don't have to change, but let me take your hand and you follow me to this new information because it may help, right? Let me shut up now. Cancer, your overall, oh my God. Why? The devil. Negative patterns of behavior and being too focused on the material versus the spiritual. That is the devil. In terms of it being connected to Capricorn, we're talking about the ability to overcome the negative patterns that keep us locked down and chained. But it's about the things that we keep choosing over and over again that are negative because they're comfortable too. In the past, the Nine of Wands, so you are constantly, I think, putting yourself in this position by expecting that to show up. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you're coming in with the Nine of Wands, you're talking about keeping the guard up, not wanting to let your guard down, being prepared, looking for this to show up. And by doing that, you're asking for it to start showing up. So this is about something in the past that has put you on the defensive, but it's also creating this like needing to be on alert and not letting your guard down. But then you know, like I said, you're just asking for it to come at you. But persistence and perseverance absolutely is a part of the Nine of Wands, right? Oh my God. In the present, the wheel. Okay, so we're talking about the cycle turning in a different direction. But with the devil being the overall, there's the potential for the cycle to continue. We want things to move in a better direction so that you're not repeating it again when it starts to fall the other way. So this to me tells me that this is something that you've been going through for a while, and you recognize the pattern of the cycle. And I think that taking your attention away from constantly being on guard and looking for solutions is going to be a better way forward, right? Future conditions, the Eight of Pentacles. So, putting in the work, right? Now, for some of you, it's really taking everything that you have gained from this cycle and using it in a way that is hopefully meant to help you break away from this. But a lot of effort, a lot of attention. For some of you, because of the Devil, you're not doing it anymore. I'm not giving it my focus and attention anymore. Instead, you're putting it into something that is more beneficial for you, because the gain from this and the potential from this is really good. Right? It eventually leads to the absolute security and stability of the Ten of Pentacles. But, right, for some of you, absolutely, this could have to do with a really terrible working situation where you're constantly having to be on alert for anything coming at you. But again, by doing that, we're just repeating a cycle. Your best path to follow, the Ten of Wands. Okay, so burdens, right? Carrying a lot of garbage because of being a part of this. Now, for some of you, it's like you may be putting in a lot of effort to affect some kind of a change over, the negativity that has been keeping you constantly, on guard. You know what it feels like? It feels like constantly being in survival mode. And this is a pattern that just keeps replaying. And the reason why is because you may feel like it's your burden to carry. Now, if there are some negative things that continuously keep playing out and you're seeing a reflection of it now, but there's the potential for things to change, it may be that you need to let go of the burdens that you are carrying. No matter what has happened to you in your past, it does not dictate your future unless you allow it to. And anything negative that you're carrying is just hurting you. It's hurting you from, making the progress that you want to see. So one of the things that I talk about with the Ten of Wands, because of the Coleman Smith, Pamela's interpretation of this. Where do you think you need to be, or what do you think needs to happen before you're able to let go of what you are carrying? What responsibilities are you taking on that don't belong to you? Because the Devil is saying that it doesn't. It may belong to another person. But you may feel obligated to take the weight of that on. But again, right, we're just repeating a cycle here. But be aware of how negative patterns keep playing out in your life by what you are carrying with you. All right, so, and I'm not even going to go into my rant. The Page of Swords being in your environment. This may be communication that may be blocking you from making the progress that you're wanting to see. But I think that the warning here is not to let it push you into where the cycle is starting to go back to the negative patterns. This is temporary. And whatever this is, it's a temporary obstacle. And I think that you were aware of the potential for this because I'm seeing you looking for it and trying to protect yourself from it. But this is the difficult communication that comes in. It's the obstacles that you have to go through where you need to gain more information. It's only a part of the picture. It's not the full story. Now, for others of you, you may be dealing with people in your environment that are trying to find out about what is going on with you. You may be hearing things about somebody in your space that it just feels like a pattern is replaying because of it. But be aware that whatever is being communicated is not the full picture. Like, I always feel like this is third-party information. If not, it's direct information that is preventing you from, again, making the progress that you want to make. But you have to be able to, find the solution to this rather than having that be another burden placed on you. Oh, man. Okay, so your hopes and your fears, the Emperor, right? Like, power struggles. Who is in control? But the negativity in this would be that you believe that things have to be done this way. And it's that belief that keeps the control, the negative control over you, and the effort that you're making. The Emperor is harsh. This is where it's my way or the highway. That's where the power struggles come up. Somebody who wants to take control of the situation, but with the devil, the way that they take control is not a positive thing. It's almost meant to keep you down. And some of you, though, may be fearing that you don't have the control over what is going on that you thought that you had. But either way, I see, the power of the Emperor being a difficult thing to deal with. The hope here would be that you're not allowing this to control you anymore, and that power is coming out of you. But be aware of what has power over you. And then coming out, the Four of Cups, man, this one's a little bit rough. A little bit rough. And that may be where there's this need to find a set of beliefs that brings up peace in your life, something that, you can find the gratitude in. But the Four of Cups are talking about dissatisfaction. Looking at what you have in front of you and looking at it like everything is just the same. Nothing really changes. It's just the same thing. Now, for some of you, because of you constantly putting in so much effort into something that is creating these negative cycles within your experience, it's like, I don't see that other Ace of Cups. And apathy starts to take over, where you may be not wanting to put in the effort anymore. Now, for some of you, that could be a good thing, though, too. The Two of Pentacles. The Page of Cups, all right. And then the Hangman. Okay, so perspective absolutely is going to have to change here. But with the Two of Pentacles and looking at the Nine of Wands, right, while you're constantly being on guard for the cycle to begin again with all this negative crap, right, there's still this decision that needs to be made. Now, for some of you, it is about needing to balance out finances, which absolutely could be the case. For others of you, this is how flexible have you been? How many times have you bent over backwards? And is this what you're trying to, protect yourself from? I'm not doing that again. I'm not going to bend over backwards and put in all this effort for me to feel like I'm not getting anything out of this. But for some of you, I'm telling you, there's this feeling of obligation because of these two. But with the Two of Pentacles too, right, like there's something that's there that you could make a different choice on. And that may be where, your attention and the detail and all of that needs to go into making a different choice and the possibility of that, especially with the Page of Cups, because we're talking about creativity. But this is pure intention, pure emotions. There's nothing hidden here. And there's this communication that's going on. And it may be that, you have one person that may be trying to influence the way that you are responding emotionally. And I say that because, you know, the Page of Swords, right? It's like using certain information to get a specific result, which is why, you know, the Page of Swords is looked at as the spy, right? Now, you know, some of you may be dealing with people on the outside here that don't exactly know what's going on with you, and they may be trying to gain some information, and this Page of Cups absolutely could be you finally going ahead and deciding to speak truthfully from your own heart about how you feel about what's going on. For some of you, this may be, you know, somebody who has compassion and understanding, absolutely. But that's like, how many times have you had to bend over backwards and sacrifice your own purity because you feel obligated to do so? And is there some outside influence that's like weaving this control over the way that you respond? And again, I'm only saying this because you have the Devil, the Ten of Wands, the Emperor sitting there, and this wheel constantly playing out, right? And then with the Hangman, if you're honest with yourself about how you feel about what is going on, then this is where things get put on hold and you start to look at things from a very different perspective. And quit sacrificing yourself for the benefit of others who will not do the same for you. Because you're not getting anything out of this, and staying in apathy isn't going to help. If anything, it's meant to help you recognize why you are feeling the way that you are. But the potential for a new beginning with this situation that's a no. I mean, between these two, it's an absolute no. I'm looking at this and I feel like the effort that you're putting into whatever you're dealing with is not worth it anymore. And I think that, you know, you're realizing that, and you're also realizing how much effort has been wasted. And then I think is where, you know, between these two, the reflection of what your obligations are is going to start to change. Because that has to end. That absolutely has to end. You know, and I have to question, because of the oracle cards, you know, where is religious belief making you feel like you're obligated to deal with something that is hurting you? You know, and again, not for everybody, right? But for those of you who understand what I'm saying, right? Like, you're immediately going to get it. Like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. But you may still be stuck in this feeling of, well, what the hell am I supposed to do? And you just fall into the apathy, right? Strength. Oh, mystery. Okay. And honor yourself. I'm telling you. Strength to continue to honor yourself, even though you may not fully understand why these things keep happening. And I say that because of the wheel. And mystery, this is uncovering the things that you have been questioning. And I feel like with the Hangman, that's really important, because once you start asking those deeper questions, the more a different perspective starts to be revealed to you. But this is not something that you can continue to do anymore. And I'm really looking at that Two of Pentacles and Page of Cups and going, oh my God, how many times have you bent over backwards and sacrificed the purity of who you are for the benefit of somebody who won't even do the same for you, right? Man, you know, again, not for everybody. Those of you who know what I'm saying, you will get it. Luck is on your side. I like seeing that. And then you're not the... It's interesting that this is the one showing up, especially considering the fact that we have Valentine's Day coming up. A new romantic a new romantic cycle begins, if I could talk right. So luck is on your side in terms of romance, which is perfect to see. But you have to break the patterns, right? No more, sacrificing yourself and feeling just not emotionally fulfilled. And not only that, but you're coming into this like being prepared for that kind of shit to show up. Now, some of you absolutely could be dealing with a person who is consistently, going behind your back and doing things that you're having to find out about. And, if that's the case, then my question is, how many times are you going to keep doing that, right? But I do like that once you start honoring yourself and you have the strength to do so, that there is the potential for something more fair and balanced, right? With Libra coming in and more optimistic. I love this reading, regardless of how, frustrating it is looking at this stuff, because I can feel it coming off of you. Like, I'm tired of it. I need it to stop. I need it to change. But that changes when you break the cycle, right? Anyway, I hope that this helped whoever was meant to hear this. I love you guys. Thank you again so much for being here, and I hope to see you again soon.